Happy National Train Day! May 10th is National Train Day. Celebrations all over well, they've all been canceled, of course. We had to cancel our National Train Day celebration activities as well. And you don't know it's National Train Day? Well, of course you do, but it's just hard to imagine because Hallmark still doesn't have a card for it. National Train Day commemorates May 10th, 1869, and the pounding of the Golden Spike at Promontory Point in Utah, the completion of the 1,912-mile Transcontinental Railway. And what a day that was. All the engines in the United States looked like this one at the time. America was growing to the west. There was gold in them there hills, and they had to find a way to connect east to west by rail. The effort to find the perfect route across the United States began in 1853. Asa Whitney was one of the first proponents of the Transcontinental Railway. He was later joined in his efforts by Theodore Judah, who lived in Sacramento and actually mapped a route through the Sierra Nevada mountains. And the hunt was underway for the funding to build the Transcontinental Railway. And they knew, of course, it had to come from Washington, D.C. because of such a large undertaking. 1,912 miles would make this the largest industrial construction project ever undertaken on the face of the earth. And it stalled in Congress for many years because they couldn't pick the right route. It took the Civil War to change everything. You see, there was gold in them there hills in California, and they needed that in Washington to finance the war. They also needed California to stay in the Union. And without the Southern Democrats in Congress, they were able to choose Council Bluffs as the place to start and connect it to Sacramento. Theodore Judah also did something else before he was marginalized in the whole process, and that was he attracted the Big Four. They were all merchants in Sacramento. None of them knew anything about railroading, and they were all recruited by Theodore Judah. The first was Leland Stanford. Now, Leland Stanford had moved to the west from the East Coast, but interestingly enough, as an attorney, he actually began his law career in Port Washington, Wisconsin. A fire drove him out of his house, burned up his law library, and he decided to seek his fortune in the California gold fields. But not as a miner. He figured out there was more money to be made selling stuff to miners than actually trying to scratch the gold out of the ground. And that was also true with his partners. Collis Huntington was the same thing, a merchant from Sacramento. Charles Crocker, well, he had a little more experience. He was an owner of a foundry. Mark Hopkins, he was the tightest guy they ever met. He was a bookkeeper by trade, and it was said he could squeeze 106 pennies out of every dollar that the railroad spent. That made up the Big Four, that made up the Central Pacific Railway. It's chartered by the Lincoln administration to build from the West Coast inward. The Union Pacific, also chartered under the Pacific Railway Act signed by Abraham Lincoln, was run by Vice President Thomas Durant. He was an ophthalmologist by trade, but he was also a financier, and he created the Credit Mobilier, which ended in scandal in 1867. He was never president of the railway, only vice president. He had straw men in charge of the actual railway while he did his work. And how did he get that grant? Well, he was involved with an earlier railroad, the Mississippi and Missouri, that got in an argument with shipping traffic over the Mississippi River when a barge hit their rail line bridge. Who did they hire to defend themselves? Abraham Lincoln. And there you have the makers of the men who built the Transcontinental Railway that led us to this date, May 10th, 1869, when they pounded that golden spike into a laurel tie at Promontory Point, Utah. To commemorate the 150th anniversary of this great event, National Train Day, by the way, last year, we on the North Shore Scenic Railroad went ahead and recreated this scene of our own. Our volunteers ran the trains, and we gave free rides to anyone that wanted to come out to the big celebration event, which took place along the lake walk behind Fitkers. It was a great day, and everybody was commemorating the 150th anniversary of the pounding of the Golden Spike to finish the Transcontinental Railway. And of course, the surviving railroad to that day is the Union Pacific, which swallowed up the Central Pacific after time. The Union Pacific celebrated their 150th anniversary, and if you'd like to know more about them, there's a great program called Hell on Wheels, which is all about the building of the Transcontinental from the Union Pacific side. Union Pacific celebrated in last year by pulling out all the stops and finishing their 5-year, $5 million restoration of the largest steam locomotive ever built, the old Big Boy. 4014 was the number of the engine that was delivered to the UP in 1941. And we got it up here for part of their celebration tour as it went around the Midwest on a goodwill tour. And the reason for that was that we had invited Ed Dickens, who was the man in charge of restoring the Big Boy for Union Pacific, to be our guest a couple of years before at one of our annual meetings. And he said, you know, I'm going to come back. And the next time I do, I'm bringing the Big Boy, an engine very similar to our Malley, only a little bigger, with him when he came. And that he did. And man, was that a celebration. We had our Festival of Steam. Union Pacific was a great co-sponsor along with BNSF and the other railroads, and we had 12,000 people on property to see this mammoth steam engine pull in, be open for tours, and as a fundraiser for the Lake Superior Railroad Museum. That is how you celebrate a birthday. And this is how you celebrate National Train Day. You can celebrate all year by being a member of the Lake Superior Railroad Museum. This is our final day to get that free copy of our museum guide along with your brand new membership. Please go to LakeSuperiorRailroadMuseum.org, click on memberships, and join up today. And today would be a great day to do that. You could celebrate National Train Day by joining and becoming a member. There's something else. You know, oh yeah, Happy Mother's Day, that too. Hey, take care of mom and all your moms. Take care of everybody. Wash your hands, keep your social distance, don't touch your face, cover your coughs. If you're sick, stay home, and let's take care of everyone.